Hello, good afternoon. We are just going to begin in a minute.
Good afternoon, all. Now we are going to start our tag meeting. So I welcome all of you. Today it is 23rd December 2024, and all of us come together for our tag meeting, our fifth tag meeting. So on this platform, I must congratulate all the tag coordinators who organized their meeting at their cluster level. So I welcome all of you. In the beginning, I would like to welcome our Honorable Principal, Sri Namdev Shankar Sahib, Principal of District Institute of Education and Training, Pune. I really feel happy to introduce our today's guest, and our today's guest is Dr. Deepak Nanavre, Professor and Head of the Department of English at DAV Velankar College of Commerce, Solapur. I'll introduce him afterwards. Before that, I must welcome all the other participants, our CLR team. Today's speaker is Aishwarya. Okay. I'm very sorry for the disturbance. I'm very sorry for the disturbance because due to some technological aspect. So I welcome all of you, the CLR team, and of course my all the coordinators, my all BRPs, and all are. So just now I talked about the our chief guest, and that is Professor Deepak Nanavre. I would like to give introduction of him. Afterwards, we are going to listen his words too. We used to call his language as smooth language, smooth English. So today we will have that opportunity to listen this smooth English. I would like to give introduction of Deepak Nanavre sir. He is the professor. Professor Dr. Deepak Chandrasen Nanavre is renowned academician and researcher, currently holding the position of professor and head of the Department of English at DAV Velankar College of Commerce, Solapur. With over 25 years of teaching experience, he is having. His qualifications include an MA in English from the University of Pune, and PhD in English, and MBA in Human Resources, and Diploma in Mass Communication and Journalism. Professor Nenave is a highly respected research guide, having supervised 8 PhD candidates to completion and currently guiding more. He has published 37 research articles in reputed journals and completed a major research project under the University Grant Commission, that is UGC. Additionally, he has authored or edited 18 books, contributing significantly to academic research, academic literature. Professor Nenave has also role at various international and national conferences. Of course, he is having a lot of things which I would like to tell you, but now because of the time lacking, I will introduce this much only. He is having so many degrees he is having, and he has contributed in so many seminars and workshops. So thank you very much for connecting with us, sir. And I welcome once again Nenave sir, and I request Nenave sir to give guidance and give best wishes to all our TAG coordinators. Thank you, sir.
Can you hear me, ma'am? Hello?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, all of you. First of all, the man behind or a lady behind a curtain who has invited me over here, Suvarna ma'am. At the same time, Principal Shankar sir, and all respected teachers for me. First of all, I put on record a word of thanks and a gratitude for inviting me on this platform of your highly experimental and highly dedicated events or continual programs. Ma'am has narrated me, number of activities have been taken because say, English is not our mother tongue, all of you know. Because usually when we think of language, any language, let it be our mother tongue or let it be any foreign language, one must record or one must understand the fact that language has been learned or acquired on the basis of certain issues or certain things. What are those things? Basically, we must understand the fact that any language is acquired or any language can be mastered on LSRW skill. What are those skills? LSRW skills is, first of all, one should be able to listen, not hear. There is a difference between hearing and listening, basically it is said. What is that hearing and listening? Hearing is a physical act, but listening is a conscious or deliberate, what you call, attempt to acquire or understand the matter that has been communicated. So first of all is listening. Second is speaking. Whatever we listen, we go on communicating or we go on repeating those things. For example, the word exactly, EXACTLY. If I listen as exactly, I repeat it as exactly. If I listen it as exactly, I repeat it exactly. It means my attempt or the way I listen, directly or indirectly, I try to communicate in the same way. So listening, speaking. R is reading. Reading, whatever we read in English. When we read, we should take care that we do not read word by word. We need to give our student such a practical exercise where they club certain words together in the form of phrases or like that, that they are able to coin a sentence into different groups. And other is writing. What is that writing? That LSRW, writing means listening, speaking, reading, and most important is that writing skills. So when we talk of these acquiring skills, we need to remember that when you prepare your activities, when you prepare your teaching plan, see to it that students are acquainted with these skills. That is, you make them to read, you make them to write, you make them to speak, you make them to listen carefully. When students listen those activities, those situations, they automatically capture the situations, because language, as I told you, that most of the time we spend on our mother tongue. So naturally, it becomes a language of our emotions, language of our emotions. But as far as English language is concerned, remember that it is not a language of our emotion, but it is language of our intellectual method. So my suggestion to you would be, instead of asking them to develop or just recite different words, like say, for example, 5 words a day, every day 5 words, but you will observe that they may forget, they may forget those things, those words, they may not be able to remember, they may not be able to remember after a few days. So my suggestion would be, there is a very simple and there is a very common method that has been used for development of vocabulary, because vocabulary creates a lot of problems for students to pick up proper words. So I would suggest to practice with word methods, word root methods. Please note down this term, roots in English, common roots in English, because most of the words in English are borrowed either from Greek or Latin language. And believe me, suppose, for example, cascade is a fall, common meaning. Now from cascadence, cascade, they are related to fall. Means you will find 50 to 60 to 80, more than 100 common roots, those who have basic meaning as far as the development of vocabulary is concerned. And when they acquire these words, you can give some activity, or you can go for some development of some charts also and display in those classroom, because I know that at your classroom level, I have seen many classrooms where you go for constructive, what you call Jnana Rachanavad concept, that you are making your students to acquire. But out of these deliberations or whatever methods I'm going to suggest you, one of the methods is that to help them to develop vocabulary, ask them to acquaint with the root methods or common root, what you call common roots in English. This would be my one of the suggestions. So make them acquainted. One root will help you to develop their 5 to 10 words and even synonyms also. This is my practical experience at higher education level. So one or two things I suggested. One, first of all, focus on LSRW skills, make them listen more and more, make them spend more and more, because I come from Navodaya Vidyalayas. When I joined Navodaya Vidyalaya, I'm student of first batch of Maharashtra of Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya. I was there as a student of Navodaya Vidyalaya from Jilla Parishad school. And let me share my experience that my teacher used to sit me with recordings, and he used to play recorder, and he used to ask me, play in a slow motion, and he used to ask me to write down whatever I listen, and then he used to correct those things. And this activity helped me like anything, I confess. A teacher used to ask me to listen in a slow motion and write down, and or whatever I used to write down, he used to correct, and he used to allot me internal marks based on that. Simultaneously, we were asked to read news. First of all, previous day, we were asked to listen to the news in English, write down, get it corrected from teacher, and in next day assembly, we were asked to read that news. This gave me confidence to stand before audience. This gave me confidence to listen and write, and this gave me confidence to speak in English. So my dear teachers, I would like to suggest on this occasion, without taking much of your time, to go through those routes and make students more and more acquainted and give them more and more dialogues. They can construct dialogue. They make them to listen. You can use many apps are available free of cost on internet. You can give them some situations, make them to listen to situations, and make them to repeat or recreate those situations in your class. So these are some of the practical tips. You are doing wonders, because we can see that when English has been introduced from first standard, you are instrumental for them to make acquainted with English language, which is not our mother tongue. So you are working at a ground level, you are working at rural areas. I really wish you all the best, and thank you very much for inviting me over here for this particular program to give you some kind of deliberation or some kind of discussion. Thank you very much once again. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. Of course, after so many days, I have listened your English, and you are so good. Meeting मध्ये.
बोलूया ते म्हणले तिकडे मी चालू आहे, या तुम्ही.
You are so good. Miss, you are very nice student actually. From studenthood, I know you. So you are very good student also, and you are very great professor too. So in his speech, sir talked about the LSRW, how it is important. And he talked about every aspect of LSRW. Within few seconds, he explained everything, LSRW. And he said that we have to focus on listening skill, because it is really, means it is the deliberate attempt. If we listen, we will learn. So listening means we have to focus on our students' listening skill. Thank you very much, sir. Sir again told about language, that this language, English language, is nothing but intellect, language of intellect, and that is why all of us have to learn it. Here, sir talked about some practices which we can use in our classroom. For example, instead of reciting the word, we can use root method. Sir has shared his experience too, schoolhood experience too. So he has given many examples, and he explained how vocabulary is important and how we can develop it through the way. Means he elaborate here the ways to develop our vocabulary. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us your precious time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dear all. So actually, we have done with 4 things already, and today's our subject is vocabulary. So with his speech, I think all of you come to know that today's our subject is vocabulary. See, vocabulary is really important aspect. When I ask any teacher or anyone, why do you hesitate to speak English? So he used to tell, or she used to tell, that because due to vocabulary, madam, maybe I don't have that much vocabulary, and that is why I never try to speak English. So it so happened, even when we read any text, we come to know that we don't know these words, and we don't understand the passage. We don't understand that text. And from that point of view, of course, vocabulary is very important. I think some of you have attended our blended mode course, English course, which is available on where? Anyway, blended mode course is there, and I think some of you have attended it. attended it, and in that course we have focused on vocabulary too. We have given some strategies. We have given some techniques there. For example, memorization technique was there, and activation technique is there, and cognitive techniques are given in that blended mode course. Some metacognitive techniques are given in that course. So all of means I request this platform. I would like to request all the TAC coordinated attend that course. Okay, it is available on online platform. So once again, I would like to say thank you to Nanavre sir too. And now I request our honorable principal sir, Shankar sir, to guide us and give best wishes to us. Thank you.
नमस्ते सर्वांना. माझा आवाज येतोय मॅडम?
Yes, sir.
ऑनरेबल श्री ननावरे सर प्रोफेसर यांनी छान मार्गदर्शन आपल्याला केलं आताच. त्यांचं मनपूर्वक आभार जिल्हा शिक्षण प्रशिक्षण संस्थेतर्फे. परवा मी तोरणे मॅडमशी चर्चा केली. जसं आपण इथून पूर्वी जिल्ह्याचं सिम्पॉजियम घेत होतो, आपण कार्यशाळा घेत होतो एक इंग्रजी टॅग कॉर्डिनेटरची सगळ्या, तशाच प्रकारची एक जिल्ह्याची कार्यशाळा आपल्याला आता नियोजित करायची की टॅग कॉर्डिनेटर आपले सगळे चांगलं काम करतात. पुणे महानगरपालिका असेल, पिंपरी चिंचवड महानगरपालिका असेल, जिल्ह्यातील आपल्या सर्व शाळांचे सगळे आता जे उपस्थित आहेत सगळे 91 जो टॅग कॉर्डिनेटर उपस्थित आहेत ते खूप छान काम करतात. तर त्यांची एक एकत्रित अशी कार्यशाळा आपल्याला घ्यायची जिल्ह्याला, आणि त्या जिल्ह्याच्या कार्यशाळेमध्ये 1 दिवसाचीच असेल ती कार्यशाळा. काही त्याच्यामध्ये काही निवडक सादर केले जातील, प्रत्येक तालुकानी आहे प्रेझेंटेशन सादर केलं जाईल. अशा प्रकारची कार्यशाळा नियोजित करण्याचं आपल्याला आता प्रस्तावित आहे. याबाबत काही सजेशन असतील तर कोणी सांगावेत की ती कार्यशाळा कशी असावी, काय असावी, तर ते तोरणे मॅडमशी संपर्क साधून तुम्ही तशी कार्यशाळा आपल्याला जिल्हा स्तरावर कशी आयोजित करता येतील. आणि आपलं जे काम आहे अत्यंत चांगलं काम आहे टॅग कॉर्डिनेटरचं, सगळ्या जिल्ह्यामध्ये आपल्या जिल्ह्याचं काम अतिशय चांगलं आहे. ते काम सर्वांपर्यंत पोहोचवण्याच्या दृष्टीनं अशी एक इंग्रजीची कार्यशाळा जिल्ह्याची आपली टॅग कॉर्डिनेटरची आपण आयोजित करतोय या जानेवारी फेब्रुवारीमध्ये. सर्व त्याच्यामध्ये उपस्थित राहतील. सर्व टॅग कॉर्डिनेटर अत्यंत चांगलं काम करतात. काही मी ह्याच्या सुद्धा कार्यशाळा बघितल्या तुमच्या केंद्र स्तरावरच्या टॅग कॉर्डिनेटरनी आयोजित केलेल्या, त्याच्यामध्ये सुद्धा चांगलं काम आज आहे. काही केंद्रातल्या मी शिक्षकांशी पण बोललो शाळा व्हिजिटच्या दरम्यान. आता मी जुन्नरला गेलो होतो आणि आंबेगावला सुद्धा. तर चांगलं काम सगळ्या टॅग कॉर्डिनेटरचं आहे. असंच काम पुढे इंग्रजी विभागाचं आपल्या चालू राहू द्या. आमच्या ज्या विभाग प्रमुख आहेत सुवर्णा तोरणे मॅडम, त्या सुद्धा बऱ्याच वेळा याच्याबाबत आम्ही एकत्रित चर्चा करत असतो आणि त्या तुमच्या संपर्कात असतात. तर सर्व टॅग कॉर्डिनेटरला आजच्या या कार्यशाळेसाठी मनपूर्वक शुभेच्छा. तुमच्या ज्या काही सजेशन असतील की या बाबतीत काही सजेशन असतील तर ते द्या. आणि कार्यशाळेसाठी जर कुणाला वाटत असेल की आमच्या तालुक्यात ती कार्यशाळा व्हावी तर आपण ती त्या तालुक्यात सुद्धा कार्यशाळा जिल्ह्याची घेऊ. तर त्या दृष्टीनं तुम्ही तोरणे मॅडमशी संपर्क साधा. सगळ्यांना आजच्या या कार्यशाळेसाठी मनपूर्वक शुभेच्छा. धन्यवाद.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Of course, Shankar sir's guidance always proved to be motivation for us, and it means his. Whenever I go to him with some problem, so he solved within second. So this is his nature, that he solve any problem within second, and of course means. He has very good communication with all the teachers, and he used to speak with the teacher. He used to know from the teachers whether this tag meetings or any program are supposed to be implemented in nicely, or what benefits teachers are having with these meetings like that. And of course, he come to know, and this credit goes to our TAC coordinators, that they are working very nicely at their field level. They are conducting their TAC meetings very nicely at their clusters, and that is why sir has given this reward to us. Thank you very much, sir, for your guidance. And of course, sir has suggested that we will organize, to organize meeting, face-to-face meeting. So we will work on it. Thank you very much, sir. So now I give this mic to Aishwarya. Aishwarya, please go ahead. Thank you very much, sir. And thanks to you.
Thanks, ma'am. Okay, so welcome all to our fifth TAC session for the month of December. So today we are going to discuss about these two objectives. Can you go to the previous slide? Yeah, before going to today's slide. Yeah, so we are just going to quickly talk about last time's experience that we had before we go ahead. Can you just remember what did we do last time? Does anybody remember what we did last time? PPT refresh. Yes. Maksha आपण social expressions केलं होतं. Does anybody remember what we did last time? So we are just going to quickly talk about what we did last time. In the month of November, we conducted a session about social expressions. So let's quickly go over it to see what do we remember. Anyone can share the response. You can unmute yourself, raise your hands if you want, and then we can talk about it. Or you can type in the chat box. कोणाला आठवतं पण social expressions मध्ये काय केलं होतं, or what are social expressions, or what kind of topics do we cover in social expressions? कोणालाच आठवत नाहीये? Can you quickly just go over what were those topics? Do you remember that we did something about phrases or dialogues or words that are commonly used in the conversations? Yes, Santosh sir, I see you have unmuted yourself. Can you share?
Yes, ma'am. We have dialogue, or we have dialogue at in the with doctor and patient.
Correct. Somebody is also saying, Shubhangi ma'am is saying both formal and informal. So we had seen something that we always talk about in our social lives, in our social situations. Vinayak sir, you've raised your hands. Do you want to talk about it? Vinayak sir? All right. I don't think he's able to unmute himself, but then correct. We had talked about.
Hello.
Yes.
Can you listen me, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir,
In the last session, we have learned about some social interactions at different levels.
Correct.
In that session, we learned how to speak at different social conversations. Like when we went to what we speak. When we went to airport or some other social interactions, we learn about how to speak and how to interact with different social platforms.
Perfect. Correct. So as everybody has correctly shared, we had seen about different types of situations that we encounter in our daily life. Lot of times as adults or also as students, we find ourselves talking with other people, and then how to interact in such situations, which phrases or words or which sentence structures can be used in such situations. All these topics were addressed in the last session in November. In today's session, which focuses on vocabulary building in English classroom, we are going to see something about why vocabulary is important in the classroom, how to build vocabulary for students in our English classrooms, and something more about it. So can we go to the next slide? We have two main objectives in our today's session. The first one is importance of vocabulary in English language classroom. Why vocabulary in English language classroom is important. And then we are also going to look at some strategies and classroom activities to enhance vocabulary. As teachers, what can we do in the classrooms? That is something that we are going to see. Next slide. As always, we have tried to align our session with the objectives given in Nipun, which are oral language development, vocabulary, reading comprehension, writing, and reading fluency. Like Deepak Nanavare sir just told that how we should concentrate on listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And I think vocabulary is a central part of all these English language skills. Unless you have vocabulary, which we call Shabda Sangraha, in any language, we cannot go to listening, speaking, reading, or writing. So for the enhancement of any language skills, we need vocabulary for the language. Yeah, next slide. Okay, so this is how the session is going to look like. We are going to do the introduction, which we are almost done with, and then we will go to introduction, learning by listening, speaking, reading, and then we'll watch a video as we always do, right? Next, we are going to do a quick poll or a quick survey like we do all the time. So I'm just going to ask Ganesh to release the poll, and then we are going to answer the poll. तुमच्या स्क्रीनवरती तुम्हाला एक पोल दिसेल. 2 प्रश्न आहेत तिथे. So there are 2 questions which will pop up on your screen. You just have to answer those 2 questions before we go ahead. दोन प्रश्न तुम्हाला दिसत असतील स्क्रीनवरती. There are 2 questions. First, 2 MCQs data with 4 options. First question is, what can one do to improve their vocabulary? And second one is, which of the following activities is the most effective to use vocabulary in an English classroom? Okay. Let's quickly look at the screen and respond to the poll in next 30 seconds. If you're in the school or in your classroom, or you're just listening to the audio, I would request you to pause for a moment and look at the screen to respond to the poll. I see very interesting answers. All right, I'm going to wait for another 10-20 seconds, and then we will go ahead. Okay, last, I'm just going to request everybody to respond to the poll if you haven't. If you are not able to find the poll question, please let us know. कि poll चा प्रश्नच दिसत नाही असं होत असेल तर it should appear on your screen. There are 2 questions in the pre-survey. 43 people have responded. I'm just going to wait for another 10 seconds and we will move ahead. Okay, last 10 seconds. All right. Okay, I think we can end the poll. Can we see the results quickly? Yeah. So as everybody can see, we have answered 2 questions. 2 options have got the most responses. For the first question, option C has clearly got the most responses. And for question 2, again, option C has got the most responses. So let's find out, is this true through the session? And then we will see what to do. Yeah. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Next. As always, we are going to begin with listening activity. And what you have to do is, please look at the screen. I'll also share the instructions. There is a passage given on the screen. We have to listen to the audio, and then we are going to respond to the fill in the blanks. So you have to listen to the audio first, and then you have to fill in the blanks. So I have, for the ease of writing the blanks, I have put numbers 1 to 15 in each blank. Once we listen to the audio, you can come back to this passage and then you have to type the answers in the chat box. The answers, the options are already given at the top of the slide. There are 15 words given in the bracket. You have to pick each word and put it in the appropriate blank. Okay? Instructions कळल्यात सगळ्यांना. If you have any doubts, please ask me in the chat box. We are going to listen to an audio. Audio is not related to this passage. I mean, it's related indirectly to the passage, but then you have some words here in the bracket. Once we listen to the audio, you are going to read the passage and fill in the appropriate blanks with the appropriate words. So when you type out the answer, you can put number 1 and then the right word, number 2, then the right word. So please put the answers likewise in the chat box. Let us listen to the audio now.
येतं नाही ना सुरू करू पहिल्यापासून
15.
Just give us a minute. I know there's some glitch with the sound. The voice is not clear. Just give us a minute. We are figuring it out. Just a minute, huh?
Audio script 15.
Is it audible now? Is the sound audible now? Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
How's your uncle Venkatesh doing after the accident?
Well, he is still in a wheelchair. He can't stand on his feet yet.
What do the doctors say?
Nothing much. They want him to continue his medicines and physiotherapy.
How is he coping with the situation?
He tries to keep cheerful, but he does get depressed often.
It must be very hard for his wife and family.
Yes, it is. His wife Radha is doing a good job caring for him and also managing the house on her own.
Is she working somewhere?
She's trying to get a job. They need the money to pay for medical expenses, you know.
What about Uncle Venkatesh? Can he go back to work?
I think he is planning to go back to work when his sick leave is over.
In a wheelchair?
Yes. The bank where he is employed has special facilities for people with disabilities.
What kind of facilities?
Well, it has a ramp and a special toilet and also a special chair and table. So, he should have no problem.
Does he live close to the bank?
His family is trying to find a house that is close enough.
It will be so good for him to return to work.
Okay, so this was the audio, and the audio was somewhat related to the passage we see here. So now what you have to do is, you have to select the words which are given in the bracket at the top of the passage, and then you have to fill in the blanks with the appropriate number. So for this activity, we can use the chat box. You can type number 1 and the appropriate word. We will take another 3 minutes, and then let's try to finish the activity. All the 15 words for 15 blanks are given at the top of the activity. So you will see those. Okay. First one, somebody saying injured. Second one is somebody saying leg. Manish sir thinks first one is depressed. Okay. Two options for first blank, injured and depressed. Okay. Please read the paragraph carefully. Second one is legs. Okay. Third is injured. Third is disabled. Okay. Again, two options for the third blank. Okay. First was injured. Fourth is wheelchair. Okay. A lot of people think fourth option is wheelchair. Fifth is depressed. Okay. Let's quickly type out the responses. I think a lot of people have reached till blank number 5. Okay, fifth is cheerful. Fifth is working. Again, 3 options for the fifth blank. Sixth is depressed. Okay. All right. Fifth is cheerful. Cheerful. Seventh one, somebody has reached to read word 7. Difficult or hard. Hard is not a word from the list that we have given. So please use the words which are only given in the list of words at the top of the passage. Hard is not there, but difficult is there. So difficult could be considered, but hard is not the word given in the list. 8th one is Radha. Okay. 9th one is job. All right. 10th is medical expenses. So medical expenses are 2 separate words, but they will go in a single blank. So medical expenses will go together. 12th is bank. 9th is job. Okay. Somebody who reaches 15, once somebody types a response for 15, I'm going to show the answers. Then we'll go to the answers. 12th is bank. 15th is find. All right. Shubhangi ma'am has typed the first response for the 15th word. 10th is medical expenses. I'm going to wait for another 10 to 15 seconds and then we will check the answers, what the answers are, all right? Okay, 9th is bank, 15th is ramp, all right? Okay, do you need more time or shall we go ahead and check the answers? All right. I think we can go ahead. Most of the people have reached till blank number 13 or 14. So I think we can go ahead and check the answers now. Yeah. So this is the answer key. I'm going to request everybody to look at the screen for the answer key. Most of the answers that you've given are correct. 15th one is find. First one is disabled. Second one is legs. Third one is injured. Fourth is wheelchair. 5th is cheerful. 6th depressed. 7th is difficult. 8th one is Radha. 9th is job. 10th is medical expenses together. 11th one is working. 12th is bank. Then facilities, ramp, and find. Yeah. Does anybody not agree with the answers, or you have got some other answers which make more sense? Is there anybody who wants to disagree? If not, I think we can move ahead. Yeah. So these are the answers that are given. So from this activity, we can stop typing the answers now. I just wanted to share something about the activity. What was the main objective of this activity? A lot of times we have fill in the blanks kind of activity. So it is important to know the word, also the meaning of the word, but also the context of the word in which it is used, right? If I know the word disabled, but I also need to know which context I am using it for, right? So you also need to know the meaning and the context of the words which are used. So this is one activity where we can ask the students to listen to something and then we can help them fill in the blanks, yeah? Shubhangi ma'am is saying most interesting activity. Thanks, ma'am. So you can also design such activities where the students are given some input and then they have to fill in the blanks. So these are the set of words that we had addressed. If there are some words which are difficult, like students might not know the word cheerful or they might not know the word RAM, you can help them understand what is the meaning of these words, right? So this is one of the activities that we have done for listening. Going to the next listening activity, we are again going to play an audio and we are going to make a mind map about the central concept of the audio. So there's something in the audio which is the central concept, एक main idea आहे आणि त्याच्यावरती आपल्याला mind map बनवायचा. So everybody knows what is a mind map, right? Does anybody not know what is a mind map? Mind map म्हणजे काय आहे? कोणाला माहित नसेल तर please raise your hands or unmute to ask. I will share more details. But I assume that everybody knows how a mind map is made. It is a collection of words or phrases related to one central idea. So what we are now going to do is we are going to listen to an audio. We are going to identify what is the central idea. And then we are going to suggest the words related to the central idea, right? So there's going to be one central concept related to that. We are going to suggest a lot of words and phrases around it. So you will need to open your books or notepads and write down the map. Before that, we will listen to audio. Let me know if you can listen to the audio.
Audio script 19.
Is it audible? Somebody please confirm if it's audible. You can listen to the audio. Yes. Okay, great.
You know, Dinkar, people don't seem to care about each other when they step outside their homes.
Why do you say that?
Have you seen how they spit inside the buses? The side of the bus near my window was brown with spit marks. They also spit out of the window when the bus is moving. And sometimes the spit lands on your face.
How disgusting. How can people be so careless?
Well, they don't seem to think about it. They're always throwing fruit peels, paper bags and plastic bags and whatnot out of the window when they are traveling by bus or train. They are not concerned about littering the road with trash.
Yes, I agree. We all know how people can slip and fall on a banana peel on the road. And sometimes cows die after swallowing plastic bags.
Plastic bags can be very dangerous. Recently, when Mumbai was flooded during the monsoons, plastic bags blocked the drains. As a result, the water could not drain out fast from the city. Many lives were lost due to this.
I think we should start teaching civic habits from primary school.
Okay, so that was about the audio. And now you can tell me what was the central concept. So you'll first understand what the central concept was. एक ऑडिओ तुम्ही ऐकला तो कुठल्या मेन कॉन्सेप्ट वरती बेस्ड होता ह्याच्यावर आपण आधी एकमत आहे का किंवा वर देअर डिफरंट फेज. येस विनायक सर.
Hello ma'am. This audio clip shows that how people careless while going outside or traveling.
Correct.
Usually,
so I can
they don't understand. Yeah.
Correct. So there were a lot of issues that were covered: awareness, pollution, lack of civic sense, garbage, like all the words you are typing in the chat box. You can make a big mind map out of it. So I will request everybody to put at least 2 or 3 words related to the central idea, and then we will see how a sample would look like. Cleanliness, avoid pollution, perfect. Misbehavior of people at public spaces, throwing waste on the road, air pollution, social carelessness, okay. Discipline, all right. Can you type some more words? Avoid plastic, careless, okay. There were some words that were also used in the audio, so let's not forget the vocabulary of the audio. Audio मध्ये काही शब्द आले होते. Also recall what words were used in the audio. Causes of flood, okay. Trash, spit, correct. Yes. There was a word disgusting. Then there was social responsibility. Okay. Inculcation of cleanliness value. All right. Correct. Civic habits, teaching civic habits from primary school. Trash was another word, right? So what I have done is I have made a sample mind map. मी एक sample mind map केलेला आहे, छोटासा आहे तो. It's not a very big map. So this is one of the sample mind maps that I have made. Now, when you do this activity with students, students will come up with different words and different phrases. इथे तुम्ही पाहिलात तर मी शब्दही लिहिलेले आहेत आणि phrases ही लिहिलेले आहेत. So there are phrases like follow rules, obey laws, do not throw plastic waste on road. So I have done something with a civic habit. So this is how a mind map would look like, right? So this, like I said, there are too many ideas coming in the chat box. Thank you for sharing. But then I have picked up only some ideas to make a smaller mind map. Actually, a mind map looks like this. So if you look at the mind map, you will understand how a mind map looks like. There's one central idea. Related to that one central idea, there are certain bigger ideas. And then there are branches. Branches आहेत त्याला. पुढे पुढे ते कसं जातंय ते बघा. So it just narrows down and there are more elements added to the mind map. So this is actually ideally how a mind map is prepared. When you do it in the classroom, you can choose any one topic and you can create a mind map out of it. So this is one of the mind maps. Right now, we had to associate it with an audio. So we listened to an audio and then we did a mind map. Instead of listening to an audio, you can also refer to a textbook chapter or any other story that is read in the classroom, and then you can prepare a mind map. All right. Let's move ahead. If there's any doubt, please ask me. I can clarify more about the mind map. If everything's okay, we can go ahead, right? So mind maps can be made on different topics, not just for English. You can make mind maps from all the other subjects, any subject in fact. And it's a very interesting tool where students get to see all the processes in one glance, at a glance, right? So all the students can contribute and a big mind map can be made. Moving on to listening by speaking, what we are going to do is we are going to look at the first activity here. So there are pairs of words which are given. So there's a first pair of word which is bottle and ground. And what you have to do is you have to make one sentences using these two words. So one example has been given. He forgot his bottle on the ground. Now I'm going to request teachers to raise hands and share any one sentence with these two words. We'll do this exercise really quickly. So quickly raise your hand. I'll unmute you. And you have to form a meaningful sentence using these two words. One example is already done. Remember that the sentence should be grammatically correct and it should make some sense. काहीतरी त्याला अर्थपूर्ण ते वाक्य असलं पाहिजे आणि grammatically correct असलं पाहिजे. Okay, Vinayak sir, third time. Okay, go ahead, sir.
There are so many waste bottles lying on the ground.
Perfect. There are so many waste bottles lying on the ground. Thank you. Anybody else?
He put his bottle on the ground.
Sorry, sir. Can you please repeat?
He put his bottle on the ground.
He put his bottle on the ground. Perfect. Yes, somebody else has raised their hand. Supriya ma'am.
Yes, hello, madam. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, madam. I found a bottle on the ground.
I found a bottle on the ground. Sure. So Bangi ma'am has also put it on the chat box. I pick up the bottle on the ground. Don't throw empty bottles on the ground. Perfect. There are a lot of responses also in the chat box. Okay. So first round we have done. Now we'll quickly go to the second round. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask participants to also write down sentences in the chat box. With the very huge crowd, it's not possible to ask everybody to share by unmuting. So we will also put our responses in the chat box. Shall we go to the next pair of words? Quickly, we will respond to it and then we'll go ahead. We have 10 words, so please be very quick. The next pair of words is clock and river. Clock and river. Clock and river. You can raise your hands to answer so that I can unmute you. Or you can also type in the chat box. Supriya ma'am. Yes. Ganesh sir.
Yesterday I lost my clock while swimming in river.
Perfect. Yesterday I lost my clock while swimming in the river. Perfect. Nurun Nurun ma'am, sir, I can see you've raised your hand. Can you unmute and share? Okay, some responses in the chat box as well. I found a clock near the river. There's a big clock on the bank of the river. Perfect. I lost my clock in the river. Very nice. Badhe sir, do you want to share? You can share. I will just unmute you. Give me a minute. Yes, you can unmute and share.
The river is running clockwise direction.
Oh, the river is running in a clockwise direction. So we've gone one step ahead and added another suffix to it. I found a clock near the bank of the river. I lost. Okay, great. A lot of sentences for lost and found. All right, we will go ahead and look at the third pair of words. Book and rain. Book and rain is the next pair. We'll only take 3 responses because we have to do 7 more sentences. And rain. All right. No responses. Avghad kaha pair. Please raise your hands. Please remember clock is wall mounted device. Yes, perfect. A clock. So there's a difference between a watch and a clock. This is a wrist watch. We call it a watch and not a clock, whereas clock is mounted on the wall. So that's one difference. All my books wet in rain. Okay. Rain wet my books. Okay. My book wet in rain. My books was wet in rain. My book got wet in yesterday's heavy rain. So now what Shubhada ma'am has done is she's added more words to the sentence. She's kept the sentence similar but added more words to it. Sheetal ma'am.
I love to read books when it's raining.
Oh, perfect. I love to read books when it's raining. Perfect. I like to read. Okay. I read a book about rain. Very interesting. All right. We are going to go to the next pair of words. Train and balloon. Bhairav sir is saying, never open your book in the rain. I found a poem on rain in my book. Very interesting. My book fell down in the rain. There is poem on rain in my book. All right. Train and balloon. Next pair of words. Train and balloon. I bought balloon in train. Okay. My book can't. I read the rain information in the book. Okay. We are going to the next pair now. Please stop responding about clock and book and rain. We are going to the next pair, which is train and balloon. I found balloon in train. Okay. I make cakes having train and balloon. Very interesting. A man was selling balloons in the train. Okay. This is balloon train. Okay. A train made out of balloon probably. I'm not very clear what it means. I saw balloon while traveling in train. I lost my balloon in train. I saw several balloons. There is a train shaped balloon in the birthday party. Really interesting. Colorful balloons in that train. Perfect. Going to the next pair. Cake and bridge. Train is decorated with balloons. Interesting. I got balloon in the train. All right. Next pair. Cake and bridge. Cake and bridge. Please respond in the chat box. Or you can also... I cut cake on the bridge. Very much possible. I eat the cake on the bridge. Okay. There is one cake shop on the bridge. Interesting. New train welcoming. Okay, again, we are going to back to cakes. Balloons. I ate cake on the bridge. They celebrated birthday by cutting cake on the bridge. I cut cake like bridge. Okay. There's a cake shop next to the bridge. I'm eating cake on the bridge. My birthday celebrated on bridge by cutting cake. Interesting. Last year, you were cut my daughter's birthday cake on Howrah Bridge. I brought a cake having shape of London Bridge. Really interesting sentences. There's a cake shop near the bridge. All right. A lot of responses for this one and very interesting. Like I said, each sentence has one added level of words. There are prepositions coming in or there are some proper nouns like London Bridge. London Bridge is a very famous bridge. So Somebody's also incorporated that element. Yeah. Next is beach and spoon. Beach and spoon. Beach and spoon. Okay, now we've shifted from cake to the beach and spoon. I eat my food with spoon at a beach. All right. Many plastic spoons were scattered on the beach. We arrange our school trip on the beach. Okay, there has to be the word spoon. It's not school, it's spoon. I eat ice cream with spoon on the beach. I liked my school, which is near. Okay, the word is not school, it's spoon. So please correct your sentences if you have written school instead of spoon. Okay, a lot of responses. I ate atta noodles with a spoon on the beach. On beach, I use a spoon. Okay, man is spelling spoons on the beach. Okay, great. Next pair. Next pair, next pair. Mountain and chair. Mountain and chair. Okay, lot of interesting answers. Let's go to the next one, mountain and chair. I think everybody's thinking hard. I sit on a chair when we go to mountains. Okay. Okay. Sitting on chair, I saw a mountain. Very interesting. I sit on my chair at the top of the mountain. There is a chair-shaped mountain. Interesting. I like chair of shape of mountain. There was big chair on the mountain. There are some chairs on the mountain. Okay. Interesting. In the interest of time, I'm going to move ahead and show you the next pair of words. Just plant and eyes. Plant and eyes. Plant and eyes. Plants make eyes happy. Very interesting fact as well as a sentence. Plants have eyes. Oh, do they have eyes? I don't know if they have eyes. The plants are eye-catching. Very interesting. We see plants with eyes. Okay. His eyes are always on my plant. Very interesting. So, this is another phrase that Shubhada ma'am has used, eyes being on something. So his eyes were on something is a phrase. So here she has also used a phrase now. Plants make cool eyesight. Okay. Okay, coming to the 9th pair of words, computer and fan. Green plants give pleasant to our eyes. Keep eyes on plants. Okay. Keep eyes is look out for or keep a watch, right? Or look at them, keep them, guard them, something like that. Okay, next pair. Let's go to the next pair, computer and fan. Computer and fan. There's fan in computer lab. Okay. So we've added another word and made it a computer lab. Okay. I'm fan of computer studies. Very interesting. So fan is also used in another context now. The meaning of the word fan has changed, where Sheetal ma'am is saying I'm fan of computer studies. So being fan of is admiring something, right? So she said that I'm fan of something. Use fan to cool the computer. My computer has a fan inbuilt. Very interesting. All right, going to the last pair of words, alien and house. Without fan, I cannot do any work in the computer lab. Very interesting. Yesterday, I brought computer and fan. Okay. There are 4 fans in computer lab. There are fans inside the computer. Last pair of words. We'll take quick 3 responses and then move ahead in the interest of time. Alien and house. Alien has a big house. I don't know where, but then can be a very meaningful sentence. I think this one is tough because everybody's still thinking. Rohit allowed Jadoo, the alien, to stay at his house in Koi Mil Gaya. Very, very contextual and a very real sentence Sheetal ma'am has made. I saw an alien at the house. I found alien near my house. Okay. This is an alien house. Last night, alien entered in my house. Use alien key to open house. Okay. Interesting. All right. Now I'm going to request you to stop responding in the chat box, and I want to talk a little about this activity. One is that it pushes students to use certain words in the sentences, like they've found out some pairs which are not at all related, like bottle and ground are not related, or balloon and rain are not related. So bringing two different words in a sentence to make a complete sensible sentence is one of the skills that is used here. Another skill is, for example, plant and ice. Here, plant can also be used as a verb, or it also can be used as a noun. So somebody planted something. असं आपण जेव्हा म्हणतो तेव्हा plant is used as a verb. But otherwise, when we say the plant is green or the plant has red leaves, तेव्हा आपण plant हे noun म्हणून वापरतो. So there's also an opportunity for students to use it in different ways. Now, in a third pair of words, book can also be used as a verb, right? I want to book a ticket, असं आपण म्हणू शकतो, right? So you could have said ki, I have booked a train ride in the rain, किंवा असंही काहीतरी आपण म्हणू शकतो. So using these words as verbs or nouns is also another way you can take this activity. म्हणजे तुम्ही म्हणू शकता की book आणि rain वापरायचं आहे, पण book हे verb म्हणूनच वापरा, असा एक आणखीन नियम तुम्ही इथं घालू शकता, right? Like I said, using these two words correctly is one part, and they should make something sensible. म्हणजे नुसतंच वापरून मी काहीतरी वाक्य बनवू शकते, पण ते अर्थपूर्ण पण आहे का नाही हे बघितलं पाहिजे, right? So it should be something which is also meaningful and grammatically correct. So you can do this activity as a game in the classroom. You can make it as a quiz म्हणून पण तुम्ही खेळून बघू शकता वर्गामध्ये. It's a very interesting game. One small thing that we have to remember is the vocabulary should be age appropriate. If you are teaching grade 5 or grade 6, do not use very, very complex vocabulary, or do not use too easy vocabulary, because it will not be challenging, right? So to make it slightly challenging, use appropriate vocabulary, and you can add different types of rules to this game, like I said, right? Going to the next game, what we have to do is you have to finish the sentences. So sentence starters, 11 sentence starters are given, and you have to respond to it. Now, since this is a speaking activity, we are just going to quickly raise our hands. Thanks, Sheetal ma'am. We are just going to raise our hands and respond, because this is learning by speaking. So I want you to speak as well. So please raise your hands instead of typing in the chat box. You can choose any of the sentence and complete it. Just say which sentence you're talking about and then make a meaningful sentence out of it. Okay, we are going to unmute. Sheetal ma'am, please unmute yourself and respond.
I'm happy when I dance.
Okay, great. I am happy when I dance. All right, thank you. Next, anybody else who wants to respond, please unmute yourself and say the sentence which you want to say. Vinayak sir.
I like to read autobiographical books.
I like to read all the biographical books. Okay. Nurun?
I'm happy when there is a holiday.
I'm happy when there is a holiday.
I like to cook.
I like to cook. Thanks, Nurun ma'am. I like to do exercise daily. I came late because of heavy rain. Okay. More people who I'm going to request you to raise your hands. I like tag meetings. Thank you, sir. I am happy when I listen to classical music. Okay, I'm happy when I eat sweets. All right. Can somebody try making sentences from number 6 to 11? First few are very easy ones, which I see all of the people are picking sentence 1, 2, and 3. Also try making sentences on number 4 to 11. Please raise your hands if you want to respond. I can unmute you. Okay, somebody who has not talked till now. Asha ma'am, Asmita ma'am, Dipali ma'am, Ganesh sir. Okay, Shubhada ma'am has raised her hand. I'm just going to quickly unmute her. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
He looked out of the window and he saw a very nice rainbow.
Ma'am, which sentence are you completing? Sixth one. Okay. He saw a very nice rainbow. Yes. Perfect. Thank you. After 2 months of hard work, he got success. I had been waiting for hours, but they did not reach. All right. Okay. Anybody else who wants to? Okay. Asha ma'am. Asha ma'am? Yeah.
I had been waiting for hours for the bus.
Okay, perfect.
The cat jumped quickly as she saw mouse under the table.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
When the light
Anita.
suddenly went out.
Okay. You can continue. Asha ma'am, do you want to say one more sentence? Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and ask Anita ma'am to share. Yes, Anita ma'am.
I came late because I missed the bus.
Okay, perfect. I missed the bus. Okay. All right. We are going to go ahead. There are a lot of responses in the chat box. The teacher smiled saying tomorrow is holiday. I had been waiting for hours, but they did not reach. After 2 months of hard work. Okay, great, perfect. So one important thing to conduct this activity is you can give these sentence starters. A lot of times teachers have said that children know words or they know how to use the words in the sentences, but they cannot use it in the sentences. So what you can do is you can give the first part of the sentence and ask the students to just complete the next part of the sentences. That way it becomes a bit easy for them. One thing to remember is if you see sentence 1, 2, and 3, they are easier sentences or they are very commonly used by the students. 4 to 11 are slightly difficult sentences which need some level of critical thinking or some level of reasoning or some level of even creativity to make sentences out of them. सो 1, 2, 3 नंबरला जे आहेत ते अगदी लहान मुलांबरोबर सुद्धा तुम्ही ट्राय करू शकता. आय एम हॅपी वेन. सो एव्हरीबडी विल बी एबल टू आन्सर दिस सेंटेन्स. बट इफ यू लुक एट सेंटेन्स 9 or sentence 11, when the light suddenly went out, everyone, so they have to pick some word like everyone panicked or everyone was shocked or something like that, or everyone started making noises. That happens in the school, right? Light गेल्यावरती सगळे आवाज काढायला लागायचे. So that used to happen in our school. So sentence 1, 2, 3 are very basic and generic, which all the students can do, even the younger students. Sentence 4 to 11 are slightly challenging, which they will need some time to think about and write it. This exercise we have done by speaking because it can be made into a speaking exercise. If you want, you can also make it into a writing exercise. You give them starting part of the word sentences and then you say ki ata pudcho tumhi liha. So you can also make it into a writing exercise. Sentences like 1, 2, 3 can also be put in the classroom. They can be displayed in the classroom. So whenever the child wants to talk to the teacher, I came late because हे probably मुलाला वर्षभरातून बऱ्याच वेळेला म्हणायला लागणार आहे. सो असे काही वाक्यरचना किंवा असे काही सेंटेन्स स्ट्रक्चर्स तुम्ही काढून तुमच्या वर्गामध्ये लावू शकता. आय वॉज ऍबसेंट yesterday because असं तुम्ही लावून ठेवा. And when the child is talking to you, you can just say use this and then talk to me, because it's a phrase or it's a structure which is repeatedly used throughout the year, right? Same for the instructions. You can have one set of instructions, half the sentence written in English and half of what they have to fill in. असं तुम्ही प्रश्नांचं पण करू शकता. लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स स्टुडंट्स आस्क यू मे आय गो टू, मे आय डू धिस, किंवा असं काहीतरी बरंच मुलं विचारतात. सो ऑल दीज कॉमन स्ट्रक्चर्स कॅन बी प्रिंटेड or written and displayed in the classroom, right? So this activity was more focusing on the sentences rather than the words. इथं vocabularyचा भाग कुठे येतो तर half the sentence is given but half you have to do on your own. So you have to use your own vocabulary. So the child is going to say whatever they know or the words or phrases that they know. Yeah, all right. Okay, now we come to the third part of the session, which is learning by reading. I'm going to request somebody to read out the content written on the slide over here. Anybody who wants to volunteer, आत्तापर्यंत जे बोलले नाहीये त्यांना मला invite करायचंय. A lot of people have already repeatedly talked and given the answers. So somebody who has not talked or shared anything up till now in the session. Ujjwala ma'am, Suresh sir, Sunil sir, Janaki ma'am, Hanuman sir, Ganesh sir. I'm going to ask Ganesh sir to read out the slide. You will read out the slide once. We will have some discussion and then we will go ahead. All right? Okay.
Teaching vocabulary is in early grades is a critical aspect of language development. Traditional methods commonly used in textbooks generally involve listing difficult words with their definitions or synonyms, followed by exercises such as matching words with meanings, completing sentences, or creating new sentences with the words. While these approaches help students get acquainted with new words, they often fall short in promoting deep understanding and uses of the words in real-life context. This traditional method focuses more on recognition rather than functional application of vocabulary, limiting the retention and practical uses of the words. In contrast, effective vocabulary teaching requires a deeper engagement with words. Simply defining words and having students memorize them does not guarantee their retention or proper use. For students to own and actively use new vocabulary, they must develop a conceptual understanding of words. This involves not only knowing their meaning but also understanding how these words
relate to other words.
Relate to other words and ideas and how they can be applied in various contexts. Vocabulary instruction should be centered around deep processing, where students can connect the words to their experiences and express them in their own language.
Okay, so the main concepts that are covered in this slide, they talk about the traditional methods. First paragraph is about what traditional methods are used and what can be done differently in the classroom. So most of the times when we introduce new words, we always focus on learning the words or writing them repeatedly or just telling the meanings of the words. So if you know the meanings of the words independently, but you don't know how to use the word in a sentence, the child will not be able to recreate it. म्हणजे suppose मला फक्त insert ह्या शब्दाचा अर्थ आत घालणे किंवा ठेवणे असा असेल एवढंच माहिती असेल, पण तो कुठल्या कॉन्टेक्स्ट मध्ये वापरतात हे माहित नसेल तर मला तो शब्द वापरता येणार नाही, राईट? So similarly, when you give certain words, it's also very, very important to show multiple examples where the word is used correctly in it, right? So, so while we introduce the words, all the difficult words are introduced आणि difficult generally teacherला जे difficult वाटतात ते आपण introduce करतो. It's also important to take a quick check की मुलांना जे माहिती असलेले words जे आपल्याला वाटते की सोपे आहेत तेही मुलांना खरंच माहिती आहेत का, right? So this does not promote deep understanding and usage in real context. So what we can do is, instead of defining or making them memorize the verbs, we can also help the conceptual understanding. म्हणजे एखादा शब्द कुठल्या संदर्भात वापरायचा आहे त्यांना जास्त चांगल्या प्रकारे समजावून दिलं की ती मुलं ते शब्द वारंवार पुढे वापरू शकतात, राईट? सो what the last sentence is saying is vocabulary instruction should be centered around deep processing where students can connect the words to their experiences, express them. आता vocabulary म्हणजे if I write 5 sentences and ask the students now make 5 sentences out of these 5 words, that is a good exercise where students will make a sentence, but that word will only come into their active vocabulary when they use it themselves. ते त्यांचं ते जेव्हा तो शब्द एखाद्या वाक्यात घालून तुमच्याशी बोलताना किंवा लिहिताना वापरतील, only then it becomes a part of their active vocabulary. Until then they are just making up sentences. ते काहीतरी एक वाक्य बनवायचा प्रयत्न करतील, which is also good, but vocabulary has to be used actively when they express themselves in words in their own language, right? So that's when the vocabulary is going to be used. Any doubts or thoughts on this, or anybody wants to share anything about this before we go ahead? Okay, Vinayak sir, thanks for the compliment in the chat box. Okay, I'm going to go to the next part of this write-up. There's another part. Anybody else who can volunteer? आतापर्यंत कोण बोललं नाहीये त्यांनी प्लीज. Machindra sir, Lakshman sir. Vinayak sir, I'm going to just wait for somebody else to raise their hand because you've already responded a couple of times. I hope that's okay with you. Okay, quickly somebody has to volunteer, otherwise I'll have to pick a name. Umesh sir. Vikas sir, Veena ma'am. Vaishali ma'am. Quickly, we are running out of time. Eknath sir, do you want to respond? Can you please unmute yourself and read? Eknath sir, if you're on the meeting, can you please unmute yourself and read out the passage? Okay, I'm going to let anybody who's interested to speak because nobody's raising their hands. Anybody who wants to, okay, Vinayak sir is here. Yes, Vinayak sir, you can read out the passage.
Yeah, I'm going to read learning by reading. Key principles for effective vocabulary teaching emphasize the need for both context and definition. Definitions alone are not enough. Students need to understand how a word fits within different situations and contexts.
So your voice is breaking. I think the connection is not proper. Can you just check?
When, am I audible now? Ma'am? When words offer simple and clear explanations to your students. For example, the definition of the word compulsory may be required by law, enforced obligatory. However, you say when something is compulsory, it means you have no choice. You have to do it, your homework. Examples, synonyms.
Slide number 19.
Oh. Okay, I'm so sorry. There was some interruption in the connection. Can you hear me now? Hello, am I audible? Am I audible? Okay. Huh? Hello.
Now. Can you hear me? All, can you hear me?
Am I audible? Can you please respond in the chat box? Okay. Okay, this is Aishwarya again. Vinayak sir, if you're unmuted, can you please read it out? I'll just unmute you. Yeah. Connection issue at my end. Sir, can you please unmute and read out again? Hello. All right, can you hear me? I'm so sorry, there was some issue with the connection. Vinayak sir, can you please read it out again? I am sorry, I'm just going to ask you to unmute once again.
There is no screen, madam.
Okay,
Yeah.
the slide is visible. Vinayak sir, तुम्हाला ऐकू येतंय का? एक
हाँ,
minute,
येते madam. Can I read now?
Yes, you can now. Yes, I can hear you now, sir. Can you please read it out?
Yeah. Key principles for effective vocabulary teaching emphasize the need for both context and definition. Definition alone are not enough. Students need to understand Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Sir, एकच मिनिट. There's some internet issue and the next slide is visible.
The next slide is visible on the screen.
I know. Just a minute.
Yeah.
All right, while we figure out what is the issue, I just wanted to let you know that in the slide 2, what we are going to discuss is something about the key principle of vocabulary learning, what we are going to learn in the classroom. So I'll just share the picture on the WhatsApp group because I'm still figuring out how to get the connection back to school. I have shared the image on the screen. I'm so sorry for the goof up. The screenshot I have shared in the WhatsApp group. If you can read it out from there.
Now it is visible, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, can I read now?
Yes, sir. Sorry, you can read now.
Okay. Key principles for effective vocabulary teaching emphasize the need for both context and definition. Definitions alone are not enough. Students need to understand how a word fits within different situations and contexts. When introducing words, offer simple and clear explanations to your students. For example, the dictionary definition of a word compulsory may be required by law, enforced, obligatory. However, you could say when something is compulsory, it means you have no choice. You have to do it, like your homework. Include examples, synonyms, and concepts with which students are already familiar. We often use several English words in our language one. Students often do not know the exact meaning, but perfectly know how to use a word contextually. For example, the word tension. A grade 3 student might not be able to tell the definition of the word tension, but know when and how to use the word correctly. To introduce new vocabulary in the English classroom, the teacher may enlist and display a list of target words and intentionally use these words in different contexts repeatedly to ensure retention of the newly introduced words. For vocabulary instruction to be truly effective, it must go beyond rote memorization. By emphasizing deep engagement with words through contextual understanding, repeated exposure, and interactive activities, students are more likely to remember new vocabulary and use it confidently in their speech and writing. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes, thank you so much. So, like we saw in the earlier slide, both context and definition are necessary. The second paragraph says that, so the example given here is compulsory, right? So, when something is compulsory, it actually means that you don't have choice or you have to do that. So, students are mostly familiar with what certain words or their meanings mean. But then what we also can do is we can also use several English words in our L1. विच वी ऑलरेडी डू. आपण खूप वेळा असं म्हणतो, म्हणजे मराठी आता बोलताना पूर्ण मराठी आपण हार्डली बोलतो. लाईक इफ आय से मला बसमध्ये सीट मिळाली, सो बस अँड सीट आर बोथ इंग्लिश वर्ड्स विच वी आर ऑलरेडी युझिंग इन मराठी लँग्वेज, राईट? सो वी ऑलरेडी यूज लॉट ऑफ वर्ड्स विच आर in English, but we use those while we are speaking L1. One good example is lot of young children will use the word tension or stress. खूप लहान मुलं, अगदी 4-5 वर्षाची मुलं म्हणतात की मला टेन्शन आलं किंवा मला स्ट्रेस आला. They have picked these words from what they have listened or heard in their surroundings. They don't actually know the meaning of the word. So तुम्ही त्या मुलाला विचारलं की स्ट्रेसचा अर्थ काय, तर त्यांना सांगता येणार नाही. पण जेव्हा ते वाक्यात बरोबर तो शब्द वापरतात तेव्हा त्यांना त्याचा अर्थ माहिती असतो, राईट? तुम्ही असे खूप शब्द पाहिले असतील, किंवा प्रॉब्लेम हा शब्द आहे, किंवा आणखीन बरीच उदाहरणं आहेत. सो यू like most of the children will know the meaning perfectly and how to use the word, but they don't know the exact meaning of the word. So you can also allow the students to use the words in L1. म्हणजे शब्दसंग्रह वाढवण्यासाठी त्यांना पहिल्या भाषेतले शब्द सुद्धा वापरू द्यात. What you can do is, as teachers, you provide the meaningful word in English to the same word. म्हणजे काही गोष्टी आता शेती करणारे पालक असतील किंवा इतर अनेक मुलांच्या आजूबाजूला ज्या अशा वस्तू दिसतात त्याची नावं त्यांना इंग्रजीत नक्की माहिती असतात, पण त्यांना मराठीत नक्की माहिती असतात, पण इंग्रजीत कदाचित माहित नसतील. So whenever you are doing an activity with mind map or something else where there are a lot of new vocabulary introduction, you can provide English words for the Marathi words that they already know. So that's one way to do that. Yeah. And the last and the most important point is it should go beyond rote memorization. म्हणजे स्कूलचं स्पेलिंग SCHOOL आहे हे पाठ करून येणे किंवा हे 10 वेळा लिहून काढणे will definitely help remembering the spellings. पण त्याच्या पलीकडे जाऊन त्याचा अर्थ समजून घेणे, ते कुठल्या कॉन्टेक्स्ट मध्ये तो शब्द वापरतात हे माहित करून घेणे सगळ्यात जास्त महत्वाचं आहे. त्यामुळे सुरुवातीला जे ननावरे सर सांगत होते की डिक्टेशन देणे, दॅट विल डेफिनेटली हेल्प विथ लेटर साऊंड असोसिएशन और फोनोलॉजिकल अवेअरनेस, जे आपण मागच्या वेळेलाही बघितलेलं आहे. मी बनाना म्हणते तेव्हा तो शब्द ब पासून सुरू होतो, हे मुलाला कळण्यासाठी डिक्टेशन नक्कीच आवश्यक आहे. पण जेव्हा तुम्ही नवीन शब्द इंट्रोड्यूस करता तेव्हा त्या शब्दाचा काय अर्थ आहे हे कसं सांगायचं, त्यासाठी यू डेफिनेटली यू हॅव टू यूज कॉन्टेक्स्च्युअल एक्झाम्पल्स. भरपूर सारी उदाहरणं द्यावी लागतील जिथे तो शब्द वेगवेगळ्या कॉन्टेक्स्ट सह किंवा वेगवेगळ्या संदर्भांमध्ये वापरलेला आहे. And lastly, repeated exposure. So if today you complete one chapter and you give a list of 10 words, you have to constantly do those 10 words over the next 2-3 months. Only then the child will understand. Doing a list of 10 words today and then doing it again after say 3 months is not going to help, because the child will forget. आपल्या वापरातले शब्द जे असतात ते आपल्या कायम लक्षात राहतात. नाही तर माझ्या मराठी भाषेमध्ये खूप हा शब्द मी बऱ्याच वेळा वापरते, पण पुष्कळ हा शब्द फारसा आपल्या बोलण्यात येत नाही आजकाल, किंवा माझ्या तरी येत नाही. सो दॅट इज अ रेअर वर्ड दॅट आय नो बट दॅट आय डोंट यूज ऍक्टिव्हली इन माय वोकॅबलरी. सो व्हेन यू गिव्ह रिपीटेड एक्सपोजर्स, तोच शब्द रिपीटेडली जेव्हा तुम्ही वापराल तेव्हाच मुलाला कळेल की तो कसा, कुठे आणि कुठल्या संदर्भामध्ये वापरायचा, राईट? सो दिस इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट पॉइंट दॅट हॅज कम अप इन दीज 2 paragraphs, right? So these are the 2 very important points that we have seen. Now what we'll do is we will go to the next slide where we are going to look at the activities. So आता इथे 2 activities दिलेल्या आहेत. We will quickly read out what they mean and how to do those in the classroom. So first activity is about making a word cloud. Like we saw making a mind map. There is a similar activity where we make a word cloud. मग word cloud आणि mind map मध्ये काय फरक आहे कोणी सांगू शकेल? Can anybody just mention one difference between mind map and a word cloud? Both are collection of words, but then what's different? Something is different between word cloud and a mind map. Word cloud is also a collection of words. Mind map is also a collection of words, but they a random collection of words. There's no connections or relations between 2 different words, right? So word cloud is a bigger concept where you do not have any other any other relations like in mind, right? All right, so the first activity, can somebody quickly read it out? Prun ma'am, do you want to quickly read it out?
Learning by reading, classroom connect. Activity 1, make a word cloud. Teacher will write a theme word on the board and student will suggest word related to the theme and teacher will write them on board. For example, teacher can write theme words such as school and student will suggest words related to school such as education, classroom, teacher, headmaster, a friend, subject, prayer, midday meal, etc. Words suggested in the native language are also acceptable and teacher will offer English words for the same. Later create a chart, write school in the middle and write all school related words around it and hang the chart in the classroom at least for a week. Activity 2, name village, city, things, fruits, flowers, animals.
Hello, I am not able to hear you, Nurul ma'am. Yes, are we done? Sorry, I again got disconnected. Okay, so activity 1 is about making a word cloud. So it includes collection of all the words. So it is not necessary. It is not necessarily in relation with each other. It is just a collection of words which does not have any relationship with each other, right? So here they have taken an example of school where there are different words which can be related with school. So it is a thematic word cloud based on one theme. So that's how we do a word cloud. Instead of a mind map, you can also do word clouds in the classroom. And second activity is name, village, city, things, fruits. जे आपण लहानपणी नाव गाव फळ फूल खेळायचो. It's the similar thing that we are doing. Then you ask the students to write all these things starting from a particular letter. So here they have taken example of letter S. So probably you'll have to write a name of village, city, thing, fruit, everything starting with letter S. Next slide. Okay, we'll quickly see how it looks इन टर्म्स ऑफ एक्झाम्पल, म्हणजे कसं दिसतं वर्गात ते आपण बघूया. सो पहिल्यांदा तुम्हाला इथे एक इमोशन्सचा वर्ड क्लाउड दिसत असेल, जिथे देर आर डिफरंट वर्ड्स हिअर बट विच आर नॉट रिलेटेड टू इच अदर. सो इथे हॅपी किंवा सॅड असं काही डिस्टिंक्शन नाहीये. इट्स जस्ट अ कलेक्शन ऑफ वर्ड्स. सो वर्ड क्लाउड इज बेसिकली all the words collected together related to that particular concept. So here the concept is emotions. All the words written here are related to the concept of emotions, and there are no connections or relations like a mind map over here, which we saw in the beginning, right? So this is emotions, and then on the right hand side I have the other activity, which I told you that there are different kinds of 4 categories of words where you have to begin that particular with a similar letter. So here you can see D, P, M, and A they have taken. You can also have another like a vast list of activities over here, right? We'll go to the next slide. There are 2 more activities. So this particular activity 1 and 2, this particularly activity 1 and 2 can be done with any students of any grade. It can be done with lower classes as well, because lower class students will also know what is done in the word cloud. So हे कुठल्याही इयत्तेतल्या मुलांबरोबर तुम्ही करू शकता. Activity 2 is also suitable for students from any grade. Okay, now we will go to activity 3 and 4. I will quickly read it out in the interest of time. Activity 3 is actually make a word chain of verbs, nouns, adjectives, etc. So शब्द भिंड्या किंवा शब्द अंताक्षरी जशी असते, that is the main concept over here. Here, if you start with a word, so you ask a student to say one word. So somebody says clever, the next child has to tell a word which is beginning with the letter R. Then the next person, if it says round, then the last letter is D. So the next person has to say a word starting with letter D, then B, and then E, so on. So you make a big round, like big chain of words. Now here in activity 3, we have only taken adjectives. इथे आपण फक्त adjectives घेतलेले आहेत. If this is too difficult, like you cannot, like the child cannot think of only adjectives, you make it simpler and allow all kinds of words. म्हणजे फक्त adjectives न घेता तुम्ही सर्व प्रकारचे शब्द इथे घ्यायला allow करू. This activity helps in again increasing the vocabulary. शब्द संग्रह वाढतो. The child will be pushed to think hard. म्हणजे if I don't know an adjective starting with D, I'm going to think very hard which word it might be, right? So it also pushes the child to think about newer and more words, right? Activity 4 is a letter card game. So there you can make letters for 26 letters in the alphabet. And after that, you can ask the child to make sentence starting with that letter. Like first round or first level is, if I draw a card which has letter R, you have to ask the child to make a sentence starting with letter R. So इथं running is my favorite activity. हे वाक्य R या अक्षराच्या शब्दाने सुरू होते. If you want to make it more difficult, you ask the students to use the same letter again and again in the sentence. You say that use that particular letter and make use of words starting from only that letter. So if there's A, Anish ate an apple. All the words are starting with A. Now this might not be possible. Like sometimes you will need to use an article, or you need to use a preposition. So every time this might not be possible. But this is one activity which can be made slightly more difficult. So these are the two activities. Again, here the child has to think really, really hard, make a sensible sentence which also makes sense and is also grammatically correct. So these are 4 activities which are put over here. I have a question for you. If you want to include prefixes and suffixes, can you think of any activities using these two concepts? Prefix and suffix शब्दाचे जे असतात ते वापरून आपण काही करू शकतो का? तुम्हाला काही सुचतंय का? की तुम्ही केलंही असेल. You must have already done it. So can you think of anything like that? If you can, just unmute and share your activity. I've allowed you to unmute yours. Right now when Nanavre sir was talking, he also said that you can do something with the root of the words, right? So he also shared that you can give a root of the word and ask the students to make words out of it. So asa tumhi suffixes, prefixes साठी काही केलं आहे का? I'm sure you must have already done. So you can just unmute and tell me or share how is it done. Unmute yourself. I've allowed you to unmute yourself. So you can just unmute and start speaking. Anybody? Prefixes or suffixes? What are the words with prefixes or suffixes? Or if you don't have any ideas, I can share an activity that can be done with prefixes or suffixes. Okay, so Priya ma'am, you can unmute and talk.
Yes, ma'am. Prefixes are like unable, suppose uncomfortable. So we use prefix as a un. And when the suffixes are there, the careful, careless, so full, annulus are the suffixes here.
Correct.
So
Correct. Can you think of any activity using these concepts? Anybody else who has an idea for an activity to conduct in the classroom? We can go to the next slide. I will just show you what this looks like in the classroom. So I have put down one activity. इथे एक activity मी लिहिलेली आहे. So there's an activity with prefixes and suffixes. You can give the students a list of words and then you can make this table. You can give them mixed words, some with prefix, some with suffix, and then you can see that they have to identify which is the suffix, which is the prefix, and which is the root of the word. So this is one interesting activity where you can address the roots of different words in the classroom, right? You can also make it more difficult. तुम्ही उल्टा करू शकता. You can just give the root of the word and ask the child, see if you can add a suffix or see if you can add a prefix to this and make meaningful words out of it. So this is one more activity where the student also knows what is the root word. So a lot of times students know how to use the words, but they are not sure if it's the same form of words, right? So for example, there are multiple examples, like ma'am said, careful or careless. The root word remains the same. So the root word is care, and careful and careless are two forms of that word, right? So जेव्हा तुम्ही प्रीफिक्सेस किंवा सफिक्सेस ची ऍक्टिव्हिटी घ्याल तेव्हा ती वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारे घेऊ शकता. Okay, so this is another another exercise that can be done. And when you see the word starting with dis, dis ने सुरू होणारे सगळे शब्द लिहा. असं म्हटलं की that will cover most of the words which come into that category. Or you consider one root word, able हा घेतला तर enable, disable, unable असे वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे शब्द तिथं येतात. So you can address all these concepts when you do these kind of exercises, right? All right, now we are going to go ahead and we are going to, next slide please. We are going to go to the last part of our session, which is learning by watching. As usual, we are going to watch a video. Ha video so banwalela ahe. I am going to mention the teacher's name. So Kanchan ma'am, who's the teacher from ZP school in Tandali, she has made the video and she has very nicely recorded the video which we are going to watch today. What we are going to do is we are going to see what Kanchan ma'am is doing, what her students are doing, and what went well, and if there are any suggestions. Okay. So as usual, there's a short video for vocabulary building exercises here. Kanchan ma'am, are you there in the meeting right now? Kanchan ma'am, if you're there, can you please?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, great. Do you want to say something about the activity?
Sorry, ma'am. What?
Do you want to say something how you conducted the activity, or which grade students are there in the video, or something about the video before we play the video?
There is a fourth class, ma'am.
Okay.
And here in here in a village area, they don't know how to converse in English actually.
Okay.
So I tried my best to converse them in English.
and
give them to best vocabulary.
Great. All right. And I also wanted to know which chapter did you take for this class or this video? Which chapter or which concept did you take?
This is Kingdom of Plants, ma'am.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Ganesh, you can stop presenting. Okay, I'm going to present the video. Let's quickly watch the video. We are already running out of time, but we'll quickly watch the video and then come back and share.
Okay, yesterday we have learned the lesson Kingdom of Plants, and today we are going to do an activity according to that lesson. This activity is known as vocabulary building activities. So in this activity, I am going to write one word on the blackboard and you have to tell the related words to that word. Okay? Okay, what is this word? Ayush? Plant. Okay, clap for Ayush. Now you have to tell the word related to that word. Pranav? Flower. Flower. Okay, clap for Pranav. Next, who will tell? Vibhuti? Branch. Branch. Very good. Branch. Clap for Vibhuti. Next, who will tell? Vedika? Moss. Moss. Okay, moss. We have learned all this in our lesson, okay? Moss. Next. Yes, Anvi. Khod. Khod. Okay, khod is the Marathi word. What is the English word for the khod? Yes, Janvi. Trunk. Trunk. Okay, clap for Janu. Trunk. Next, who will tell? Yes, Swara. Fruits. Fruits. Okay, very good. Fruits. Clap for Swara. Yes, Pranav. Grass. Grass. Okay, very good. Grass. Clap for Pranav. All these words are related to plants. There are many words related to plants. We have seen, okay? Now here I have made this TLM for you. And this is the plant. This is the plant. And all these words are related to the plant. And I'm going to hang this in our classroom. And daily you have to practice each word and make the sentence. Okay? Okay.
All right, so that was the video where Kanchan ma'am has tried making a mind map, which is, I think, similar to what we did at the beginning of the session. So we'll quickly share what do you think about this video. Are there any observations? What do you think? What was she doing which was very good? Please type in the chat box or respond in the respond by unmuting. What were 2 or 3 things that Kanchan ma'am was doing which were really good? Some teacher actions you can state, and then also student actions. Just going to wait for 10 seconds for your responses. Otherwise, I will just summarize what we observed. All right. So first thing that I want to tell, which is a very positive thing that she was doing, is she was taking responses from every child and from every language. So she said that khod is a correct word because it is related to the concept, but it's not an English word. And instead of saying no, khod nahi म्हणायचं असं त्या न म्हणता त्या म्हणाल्या की ह्याचा इंग्लिश शब्द माहिती का कोणाला, which was a very good strategy to do in the classroom. And then another child said that it's called trunk. Then she was also appreciating the students, and she was doing positive narration. She was appreciating by making everybody clap for it, and then everybody was clapping for the student who answered it correctly. And she was also including everybody in the process. एक मुलगी मोस म्हणाली मॉसच्या ऐवजी. सो मॅडम नेवर सेड की नाही नाही मॉस म्हणायचं, मोस नाही म्हणायचं. इन्स्टेड ऑफ दॅट शी मॉडेल्ड इट आउट की कसं बरोबर प्रोनाउन्सिएशन आहे. शी नेवर सेड दॅट यू आर रॉंग. शी जस्ट व्हाईल रिपीटिंग शी सेड मॉस. मोस is the word that the student said that While writing, ma'am said moss. So that was a very nice strategy where you are not discouraging children, you are accepting all the responses and then also appreciating the students. A very nice video, Kanchan ma'am, and I liked how you conducted the activity. Like she said, this was conducted for grade 4. You can do similar activities with different set of words for higher grades as well, right? So I think overall the activity went well, and I don't think there are any other suggestions, but one आपण अर्थात आता खूप छोटा भाग पाहिला व्हिडिओचा, but the overall video can be, I mean, this activity can take up a lot of time and a huge mind map can be created out of it. So that's one suggestion from my side. Otherwise, it was a really good activity. Okay, in conclusion, we are going to quickly discuss what did we do today, takeaways, and if you have any question and answers, and how are you planning to do it in the classroom. So I'll just invite you to either type in the chat box or speak by unmuting yourself. So quickly, can we go over what did we do today? Anybody who's ready can just unmute themselves and talk about it. आणि अशा कुठल्याही एक किंवा दोन गोष्टी तुम्ही शेअर करू शकता ज्या तुम्हाला वाटतात की महत्वाच्या आहेत आजच्या सेशन मधून. दोज कॅन बी युअर टेकअवेज. What do you think are 2 important things that you find interesting from this session? Anybody can just quickly unmute and share or type in the chat box. We did a lot of activities, so anybody who's ready can just share. Can we think about any 2 strategies or 2 points, maybe from learning by reading section, which make sense or with which you agree with? I mean, those are the important points you feel. कुठले 2 मुद्दे शेअर करू शकेल कोणी? एनीबडी, कुठले 2 मुद्दे आजच्या सेशन मधनं काय तुम्हाला असं वाटतंय महत्वाचं होतं?
Give response. How is the session? How was the session? Let me know from you.
Okay, Supriya ma'am is saying vocabulary related activities. Vinayak sir has unmuted. Do you want to share something? Anybody who wants to share, please unmute.
Yeah. Can I talk? Hello? Can I talk now?
Yes, you're audible. You can talk.
Yeah, ma'am. This session is very nice, very interesting, and very useful in the classroom to build a vocabulary, because as Dr. Nanavade said, that vocabulary is a main problem while teaching to the students of rural region. So these activities are very useful in useful to build the vocabulary of rural students, and it make the students attached to the subject and language, and also they keep their interest high, so make them learn English easily. So thank you, Aishwarya madam, and thank you, Torne madam. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Supriya ma'am, you're raising your hand. Do you want to?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yes, ma'am. So it was very nice, ma'am. All our meeting was very nice, and our guest was very, very. We are very blissful so that we can listen or hear him. And he explained that how to give students activities like root method, and we are going to know that how to prepare dialogues and present. And sure, ma'am, I will prepare a notebook on small dialogues also. I have thought that. Then I think root method, I have to ma'am, want to know more about the root method, ma'am. Some more examples will be there, so I will understand more conveniently, ma'am. So this is my concern about root method, ma'am. And next one is about dialogues. So there are formal and informal dialogues. So there are so many things we can do in our dialogues. Social interactions can be done here, and social conditions can be used for the dialogues. Then word vocabulary, building vocabulary. So the in building vocabulary, we can take more and more activities with the help of audios, videos we can use. There was a nice spitting of spitting, and then banana peels and plastic bags, and all those things were very good ideas about the giving students audios and asking questions, making conversations. That was very good. Then I enjoyed the activity of you gave that bottle and ground, clock and river. Those are very good ideas for making students aware of how to make word sentence building. It was very good idea about sentence building, ma'am. I enjoyed it also, and my students will also enjoy this activity. Next is the dictation. I am thinking that I can't take dictation in English, but I will prefer that dictation will help more and more for vocabulary building, ma'am. Then word cloud, mind map, word chain, letter card game, and again root activity, root words. So there are prefixes, suffixes. I understood so many things in this meeting, and I'm very thankful to you and your all team that you are giving so much efforts and knowledge to us. So I'm very thankful to you from my bottom of heart. Thank you, ma'am, for giving me chance to speak, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Supriya ma'am. It means a lot to us from your feedback. I will share more about the root words. There's a specific study, area called etymology. Etymology means shabdancha abhyas. So you can also look up, but I will share more about it. So it's called etymology, and you can just look up all the synonyms, antonyms, root words, prefixes, suffixes. हे सगळं त्याच्यामध्ये येतं. I'll definitely share more about it. Before we end the session, I am going to request you to quickly do a post-session survey. तुमच्या स्क्रीनवरती एक poll येईल. It's a feedback for today's session, and I would request everybody to just take the survey. As you do the survey, please stay back after you are completed. Suvarna ma'am has something to share, and then we can end.
Thank you very much. So after listening to Supriya ma'am's feedback, I feel very happy that everyone is happy with this session. Thank you very much. Even I would like to share one incident. One time tag group is there of Haveli. It is of Loni Cargo cluster actually. And there is one tag coordinator, Praveen Bhavar. So what Bhavar sir done last time? So he used to give one word every day on group and tell every teacher to frame this sentence by using that word. So of course that benefits a lot to all the teachers. But after some time, I think what happened, I don't know. But I did see the words on that group. But this is very good activity for vocabulary development. There are so many activities which we can use for our vocabulary development. And of course, not for only our students' point of view, from our point of view too, vocabulary development is very important. So I think on this platform, I would like to request all the tag coordinators, try to develop our own vocabulary. If we have nice vocabulary with us, if we have words with us, we are able to speak very fluently, nicely, as Supriya ma'am speaks just now. So I think you all will try to develop our own vocabulary with this session. And of course, I would like to give best wishes to all the tag coordinators to conduct CAD meetings at their cluster level. Of course, you are working very nicely. But today, if I see the participants, only 65, 70, 80, 100 participants are there. Why it so happened, I don't know. But I'm expecting 300 participants here, but only 65 participants are there. I'll see that why all the participants are not there. I'll take the feedback from my RPs, resource persons from every Panchayat Samiti. So I'll take the feedback from them. But whoever are present here, I think they must feel that they are this session is beneficial to them. So thanks goes to Aishwarya madam, because she elaborate all the things very nicely and with patience, and of course she listens everyone's opinion and all that. Thank you very much. And on this occasion, I would like to give my thanks to our respected principal sir, Shenkar sir, Namdev Shenkar sir, Honorable Principal of DIET, and all the officers who are present here, all the TAC coordinators, and all the BRPs, and of course CLR team too. So once again, I'll give best wishes. And once again, I request to all of you to fill the poll, because only 10%. So in some questions, I see 90%, and in some question, I see the 10% only. So fill the poll. And thank you. Thank you very much. After the poll, we will end this meeting. I would like to express, I must congratulate Kanchan madam, because she did very nice lesson. She has given her her contribution as much as she can, and she has done very good job. So thank you very much, Kanchan madam. And of course, she is very good teacher. Actually, she's having very good communication with her student, very good rapport with those students. And thank you. And one more thing I would like to express here, she is my student too. She's a student of DIET, and I know her quality, and that is why I gave this opportunity to her. And she contributed her contribution. So thank you, Kanchan. Well done. Thank you.
All right, and the poll is still open. You can just respond to it in next maybe 30 seconds before you drop off. And once you've responded to the poll, we can end the meeting. Thank you everybody for joining, and we are looking forward to seeing more activities on the group. तुम्ही तुमच्या वर्गात काय करता आणि काय वेगळ्या प्रकारे करताय नक्की पाठवत राहा ग्रुपवर. We are all excited to see what you are doing in the classrooms. Thank you so much. Please respond to the 4 questions in the poll before dropping off. Thank you. Okay, thank you everybody. We'll end the meeting now. Thank you so much. Bye.